Guys, I don't know how else to say this. I don't want to be blowing smoke or anything like that, but if these rumors are true, what I'm about to show you, the OnePlus Open is going to be an absolute game changer. We've talked about it on this channel a few times. We've talked about how good the specs look. We have hypothesized, we have theorized and speculated about what the price would be, but now we are finally beginning to get some truly firm information, and my mind is thoroughly blown. Here's what we need to do. Let's jump over to Twitter. We're looking at Max Jambor, who is a fairly well-known tech tipster or leaker, and they tweeted this at 8:25 this morning. OnePlus Open, that is the apparent name of this device, which I actually quite like. Rather than being another Fold, they're going to be an Open, which is quite cool, because if you think about it, you open the thing. You also fold it, but to get to the tablet, you open it. So they're kind of reversing the paradigm, I guess you could say, in an interesting way. So let's go through this tweet. Is it any good? Yes. That's a good thing, that it's good. Can it compete with the others? Yes. Does it look good? Yes, if you like big cameras. And of course, we've seen these renders with the giant Hasselblad emblazoned camera bump on the back for quite some time. These are from OnLeaks, who is one of the more reliable tech leaksters, tipsters. I combine leaker and tipster into leakster. I've created an entirely new subgenre of tech reporter. He's one of the more reliable ones, so I do believe these are going to be accurate. We're going to talk a bit more about these renders here in a minute, though. Form factor, like the Oppo Find N2, and they clarify form factor means aspect ratio. Now, this is an interesting one, because if you look up images of the Oppo Find N2, what you see is a device that is kind of similar to the Pixel Fold. It is wider than it is tall. It is a wider device. And if you look at the renders of what is going to be the OnePlus Open, it is a much larger device. For one thing, the screen is rumored to be a lot bigger than the Oppo Find N2. But what he's getting at here, I believe, is just the overall width of the phone. If you look at, none of these renders are fully open, so it's hard to tell. But if you look at this cover display, it does look to be relatively wide. So when it's fully opened, I think it's still going to be taller than it is wide, but it's still going to be a relatively wide device. I'm a little bit fuzzy on exactly what they mean by form factor or aspect ratio being the same as the Find N2, because again, I trust these renders, I trust OnLeaks, so that's a bit confusing. We also know that it's going to be quite a bit larger, like I said. We'll take a closer look at those specs in a moment as well. Launch August the 29th, and that does line up with stuff like this that we saw from OnePlus, saying coming in Q3. August is in Q3. Looking good. Colors, black and green. Of course, we've seen the black sort of faux leather that apparently could be a real thing. They said that they definitely saw this, but whether or not it actually launches with this faux leather is up in the air. Price, and he says, for now, we're not talking about it. However, he does kind of talk about it. If we scroll down, there's people asking sorts of questions. Thickness is around 11 millimeters, which isn't bad, assuming that means the thickness when it's closed. If it's 11 millimeters when it's open, that would be a brick of a phone. But 11 millimeters closed is actually pretty good. Of course, the software is a Fold version of their typical software, but this is the interesting one. So the price will be closer to 2,000 euro or closer to 1,500 euro. And Max responds with a down-facing arrow. Less than these two numbers. Wow. Now, of course, we're concerned most on this channel with the United States. And as this person asks, available in US, Max says yes. Euros aren't exactly one-to-one with dollars. The euro is a bit stronger right now than the American monies. So we can't necessarily say for sure that that means less than 1,500 euro means less than $1,500, but a lot of the time that winds up being pretty close. If they get this device out with the specifications that we are looking at, let's jump over to GSM Arena, where they've kind of compiled the specifications of this as of yet unannounced device. 7.8-inch screen, 16 gigs of RAM. Look at the camera specs down here. A triple camera setup. It's a periscope, zoom, Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This thing is absolutely jumping off the screen with these specs. If they get this thing out in the US for $14.99, next to something like this for $17.99, the Z Fold 5 might be even more than $17.99, and they're $14.99. They have undercut everyone by $300, which, if you remember when I asked about how much money it would take to make the average person switch their phone alliance, their allegiance maybe is a better way to put it, from the Z Fold to the Pixel Fold, $300 was the number. That led me to tell you guys that $14.99 should be the number for the OnePlus Foldable. Go find that video. It's a couple months back. I called this. I said $14.99 should be the number that they're targeting. And holy mackerel, it looks like they're targeting $14.99. Absolutely unbelievable. This phone is going to be nothing short of disruptive in the way that the older OnePlus phones were. I am unbelievably excited about this. But I would love to know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. Sound off, get excited, let's get hyped up in the comments down below. Let's talk it over. Is $14.99 making you think, oh, I'm gonna skip the Z Fold and wait on this thing? Because I think a lot of people are going to at least want to wait and see what this device looks like. And hey, what did we say the release date was going to be? Not all that far away, August the 29th. You don't even really have to wait. Samsung, are you getting a little nervous? Competition's looking stiff. OnePlus is coming, and I'm pretty darn excited. How about you? Subscribe for more content like this, guys. I'll see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.